Hi, welcome to my channel. One of the things I want to talk about today has to do with sexuality, duality, spirituality, and energy. So, I think one of the reasons why I want to talk about this is I think there's a lot of misconceptions about like the duality of male and female energy. I think a lot of people understand the yin and yang in life. They understand the male and the female. I think they might not understand the spiritual makeup of the energy. Or maybe they do, but I'd still like to talk about it a little bit. So, how I look at it is the human body is kind of like a representation of the duality that we exist in. So, for example, like we might have one body, we might have one head, but we have two eyes, we have two arms, two hands, two legs, 2 feet. We have basically like one mouth, two lips, one nose, two nostrils, and for like the reproductive parts, we have two gonads and we have two ovaries. So it's kind of like in our makeup, duality is like imprinted on us from the get-go. So the best way I look at it is everybody has male and female energy in each one of us. So we all have it. So we all have a certain level of feminine intuition energy, and we have some level of masculine male logical energy. So I think everybody, if you think about it, is a balance of the two. So, like you might see someone who is very masculine or very feminine, and you might think, oh, they're all this. But remember that they're not. They're both. So, and the funny thing about how chakras work is they do balance out between male and female because the chakras start differently for men and women. The women start out counterclockwise and the men start out clockwise. So almost like each chakra is like a yin and yang between two men, between a woman and a man. And I think like if you could take the religion, you could take the dogma and the doctrine out of sexuality, you'll see that people are both. It doesn't mean that because you have feminine energy, you're a certain like sexual, preference. All it means is like your levels might be different. That's all. And you might attract someone, and it doesn't mean who the person could be any gender really, but you're going to attract someone who is the opposite of your like energy levels. So I think it's fair to say that you know like gender, sexuality, it doesn't really get talked about a lot with metaphysical things. It sort of does and it sort of doesn't. Depends who you talk to about it. I mean, I think it's something that people should be talking about openly. If you could take out like the belief systems that have been imprinted on us and you could think for yourself, you realize that people are both. Then you could look at it from a different point of view. You could be like, okay, so if humans are both, if humans are both male and female energy, then what is God? Is God the absence of sexuality, or is God like us, where God has both male and female energies, but maybe balanced completely at 50%? Or maybe God doesn't have, whatever the God is for you. Like let's say it's the creator, let's say it's the universe, let's say whatever. But maybe that is outside of sexuality. It's outside of duality, because there's that argument too. But going back to sexuality and energy, I think the best thing to do is you have to honor both sides. Like, for example, your brain. Your brain has two sides. It's not like one day you wake up and you're like, I'm only going to use my left side of my brain today. Screw the right side of my brain. I'm not going to use it. You don't do that. Or like, for example, you don't wake up one morning and be like, something? I think I'm only going to use my right eye today. I'm not going to use my left eye because it's feminine, because it's on the left. No, you don't do that. You use both, and use both in balance. Now, for some people, there are imbalances. And, and maybe that's part of the lesson, like the imbalances in, like the brain, for example. I don't think it's a coincidence that certain diseases affect one side of the brain, or like people have certain conditions and issues on a certain side of the body. I think it's somehow related to like how that person sees their own sexuality in their belief system. But I think it would be a much kinder and kind of more logical place if we understand that we're both. We might not be like the same levels of both, but we're both. So I'm really curious to see what people think about this. I'm curious if you agree or disagree. If you disagree, please be considerate and kind in your comments. And but let me know. I want to know. Like, if you don't agree, that's fine. And if you do agree, I'm really curious to see if you could expound upon this a little further. And let me know what you think. So I appreciate you listening, and have a great day. Thank you.